So it's basically AI for sales teams to give them an edge. You're a multi-time entrepreneur. Why do you think this is such a big opportunity?
Well, it's a big opportunity because we are in the business of helping sales teams predict the future. And if you think about that, predictive computing and sales, why is that big? Well, first of all, predictive computing is arguably going to be the largest technology shift that's transformational in our generation. That's number one. If you look at statistics, JP Morgan is saying that today AI spend in the enterprise right now is roughly $12 billion, and that's growing to $60 billion by 2021. So the impact of predictive computing on the global economy will be huge. Second, for us, sales, and you can ask Mark Benioff this question when he comes on your show next time.
One of your main competitors.
Yes. Sales is the lifeblood of any company, Emily, whether you are a privately held company or a publicly traded company. Imagine if you're the chief revenue officer or the VP of sales and you can accurately predict the future of your forecast, whether it's bookings, revenue, earnings. This can have a massive impact on your financial performance and your earnings per share.
So Salesforce is basically your competition. You know, how big a threat, Aaref, is Mark Benioff?
Well, Salesforce is obviously a very impressive company, and it does many great things. I think it does something different to what Clari does, though, in that Clari takes information from Salesforce, combines it with data from other sources, and then applies AI to help sales teams with their two most important questions, which are, how much are we going to sell, and how do I empower my team to sell more?
So how do you drum up enthusiasm when you have cryptocurrency and AR and all of these sexy technologies out there, and it's a war for talent?
Right, no question. We don't have drones, we don't have self-driving cars, right? There's no blockchain in my narrative here, Emily. But the way
could come. Everybody's doing it.
Everyone's talking about it. But for us, it is the real impact that we're making for companies like Okta, Palo Alto Networks, Nutanix, where we're making a meaningful difference in their growth. Companies like you mentioned, GE, Audi, et cetera, where if you look at what they're able to do today for sales reps, they're now logging into Clari, and Clari is letting that rep know, hey, here's where you have risk. Here's what you should do next to close your deals faster. Or managers that are now logging into Clari and having this new view into exactly where they have risk. And the machine not only showing them where they should spend time, but showing them what's the number going to be next quarter or 2 quarters out, allowing them to accurately predict where they're going to end up.
Now let's take a look at another business software company, which is Domo, which has a similar software as a service model. They had to refile an S1 because it was so disappointing. I mean, does that have you resetting expectations at all?
Well, I think sometimes the private markets could get carried away and the public markets are generally unforgiving. But that doesn't change anything about...
Are the private markets carried away right now?
It's always, we knew the answer to that. But I think the important thing is to just build sustainable companies with revenue, customers, profits over time, and let valuation fall out where it may. The thing I wanted to go back to briefly is just in terms of why people should be excited about AI and Clari in particular, is that when I think of it compared to other things, I mean, cryptocurrency, autonomous vehicles, these things are super exciting for the future. AI is happening now. And we see that with IBM Debater and some of the consumer apps. And we also see it in business applications. And Clari is an example of applying AI to sales, taking it from art to science.
Are you excited about cryptocurrency for the future?
I am very excited.
Why?
Because it's a fundamentally different way of doing things. It is a decentralized trust model, which is what the blockchain is all about. It is a fundamentally different way, organizing principle, that I think can be applied in many, many different ways. And Bitcoin is just the first application of that.
Andy, there are some who say we're in an AI hype cycle, that AI is overhyped. You have Elon Musk saying it's going to be the end of the world. Prove them wrong.
Well, if you look at our customer traction and you look at our momentum, that is real proof, right? We are using artificial intelligence, predictive computing to be able to allow reps to close their deals faster, managers to drive more revenue.
But do you have any concerns about the power of AI?
You know, our belief is that the AI is actually not going to replace the human. It's actually going to make the human superhuman in that I'm no longer going to be thinking about what I should do next. How should I prioritize? The machine is going to help me use my own human brain power to serve a higher purpose of exactly what we should be doing for planning, for execution, for being able to understand how we communicate to the street. A lot of the mundane organization of Excel spreadsheets and the way people are actually trying to roll up their forecasts today is just a total nightmare. And with the machine handling that and telling us, hey, this is what we're going to do in terms of our forecast for bookings, for revenue, et cetera, now it totally transforms the way I plan, the way I hire, the way I execute as a chief revenue officer or VP sales.
SoftBank is investing $100 billion. They're really competing in growth. They are giving startups very long lifeline and delaying exits for VCs. How is that impacting your strategy?
Well, I think in terms of our strategy, it has had no impact at all. Our goal has always been to partner with entrepreneurs from everywhere from inception through to IPO and beyond, and that's what we're continuing to do.
Is it frothy out there? You've done this many times.
I would say my answer on that is that we went out to raise 20 million and it went to 25, 27, 20, 35 million. It was an oversubscribed round, so we raised faster than we thought. And it was, the markets are very healthy to be raising money, no question.
So here's my last question, bringing it full circle and back to AI. Chamath Palihapitiya of Social Capital has this new experiment where he's using machines to try to make investment decisions. Do you think AI could put investors out of a job?
I think AI has tremendous potential. We have a long way to go. I mean, today AI algorithms struggle to tell the difference between a blueberry muffin and a kitten. So while we are making progress, there are a lot of jobs where human judgment is needed, and I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
Could AI take bias out of the system?
It could, if designed correctly. It could also bake bias into the system, and we're still figuring out how to do the first and not the second.